How are you?
First of all, my name ain't no damn Georgie. And what are you doing in this dirty ass gutter?
Your name's whatever the fuck I say it is.
I done seen all your damn movies, bro. And I see them ugly ass fingers you got right there too. I'm not about to reach my hand down there so you can bite my damn arm off, bro. What you think this is, fool?
Do you want your ball or not?
First of all, I don't even mess with clowns like that in the first place.
Fuck, dude, you the hardest headed ass nigga I've ever dealt with.
Stephen King's It broke so many records in 2017, and it went on to earn $100 million in the opening weekend, which is crazy, especially for a horror film. And it's incredible because Halloween made $250 million worldwide, but this movie alone made half of that in one weekend. And we'd kind of be lying to ourselves if we said that Stephen King wasn't one of the most prolific authors of our time. So I'm not really surprised the movie was so popular. This film to me feels a lot like a long episode of Stranger Things, and the funny thing is, Stephen King feels as if Stranger Things actually may have helped push the interest towards the film. During an interview with EW, he said, "I think Stranger Things might have had something to do with it, but that's kind of an incestuous thing because so much of Stranger Things reminds me of stuff that I've written. But I think that played a part, and obviously the idea of a bunch of kids fighting a supernatural terror just sort of appealed to people, and they saw a chance to root for the good guys, which doesn't really always happen in a horror movie. And I think that might really be the case for this film, as I think the film might have appealed to the people that maybe the last one wouldn't have appealed to. But as much as I could make a video about It 2017, we're going to talk about the newest chapter to the story, which is set to be released this year. So I'm sure you know about the cast member who recently mentioned how this film will supposedly have the most blood in any horror movie, and that sounds pretty good, but the first movie kind of felt a bit watered down for me, and I felt like that may have been, to appeal to the younger audience. But I won't discard what the person has to say because, once again, my hopes are quite high for the film. I enjoyed the first one and I'm quite excited for the next one. So, during an appearance on one of those late night TV shows, I can't think of the name, probably Jimmy Fallon or a Jimmy Kimmel, that might be the name type thing. But anyway, Jessica Chastain, who's playing Beverly in the new film, had said that it's quote unquote scary, man. Now, I'm not surprised she said this because really she wouldn't say otherwise. I mean, if you're in a horror movie, you're not going to say, yeah.
Not gonna lie, man, the movie is quite dull.
But anyway, she said, I'm going to say something and I think I'm going to be in trouble here, but I'm going to do it. It might be a spoiler, but in this movie, there's a scene that someone said on set that it's the most blood that's ever been in a horror movie film scene. And I'll tell you, the next day I was like pulling blood out of my eyeballs. Fake blood. So, this really isn't an indication of whether or not the film will be scary, of course, because, blood does not equal scare. And of course, the way the scene plays out is important. Like, if you've seen the Hatchet franchise, plenty of blood, but not necessarily that scary. Definitely an awesome franchise, and I love Victor Crowley, but it's not really scary because it's more just gory, It's, I guess, the kind of point of the film is just to have a lot of gore. But anyway, my point is that this news doesn't really get me any more excited for the film. Not that it should, because I'm already excited, and I recently learned that, if you keep your hopes up high for a film, maybe you might get let down. And I'm not going to drop names here, but a pretty successful film of last year. I'm kidding. Now, I liked Halloween. I know, it's like a running gag on this channel that I'm like, oh, Halloween disappointed me, but it didn't. It was a good film. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, here's a rundown of what we know so far. Shooting began in late June and ran through till October 31st, and there have been some official and also not so official photos popping up of the film, and there were some photos in the early part of September of Bill Skarsgård in his Pennywise costume. He was sitting on top of a Paul Bunyan statue in Derry, which actually played a role in Stephen King's original novel. And as for confirmation of the shooting having begun, Jessica Chastain confirmed it herself on Instagram on the 28th of June 2018. And for the storyline of the film, it's apparently set 27 years after the events of 2017's It, and follows the adult members of the Losers Club who were introduced in the first film. And in this new movie, they return to Derry to confront Pennywise. No clue why, but they done it. Pretty brave people. So it's said that the movie will mainly take place in present day, but the younger versions of the characters will be played into the story. Maybe we'll see like part of their lives as they grow older, and kind of sort of showing how Pennywise may have affected them in their older years, And also, the film will retain one of its weirder elements from its source material, a scene from the story's finale involving something called the Ritual of Chud, and Stephen King's novel The Adult Losers battle Pennywise by performing an elaborate ritual involving surreal imagery, metaphysical concepts, and even the telling of jokes. Screenwriter Gary Doberman told Cinema Blend, "The Ritual of Chud is challenging, but it's such an important component to the book that we had to address it." That stuff is difficult to balance because director Andy Muschietti producer Barbara Machete and I worked with each other before when we were writing pages and all that stuff. And it becomes more of a conversation and less like, hey, here's what I did. It's sort of organic. It's really kind of just chipping away at the stone and trying to find the most focused, accessible way into the more metaphysical aspects of the book. So as for the character of Mike, it seems like they wanted to take a bold route. Mike chose to stay in Derry, sort of watching out for Pennywise's return. My idea of Mike in the second movie is quite darker from the book, Annie Muschietti said. I wanted to make his character the more pivotal character who brings them all together, but staying in Derry took a toll with him. And I want to make him be a junkie actually, a librarian junkie. When the second movie starts, he's a wreck. And as for the cast, we have Bill Hader who plays Richie, Jessica Chastain will be playing Beverly Marsh, James McAvoy who will be playing Bill Denbrough, Andy Bean will be playing Stanley Uris, Isaiah Hustafa who's playing Mike Hanlon, and finally James Ranson who's playing Eddie Kasprak. So that's kind of like a rundown of what we know so far, and I will also mention that I've seen all this information on digitaltrends.com. They've done a fantastic job of providing a lot of information to make it clear for the fans to read. And I'll also leave the link to the article below if you want to read this yourself. As for now, I'm excited, and I have been excited for a long time. I can't wait to see it, but once again, to me, more blood doesn't mean more of a scarier film, and it can go either way. Do tell me your thoughts below, as of course I'd love to read and hear what you think. I do apologise for the lack of videos lately. I'm working on something really interesting, and honestly I'm still kind of in shock that I'm doing it, but it's going to be a series of 4, maybe 5 videos that could run up to an hour to an hour and a half each, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the best stuff I've ever done. So I hope you guys, aren't too mad about the wait, but it will come eventually, so please, if you're looking for that, be patient. I hope you guys have an awesome Saturday night if I get this out today. Yeah, it's 2018 or 2019. It's coming soon, man, so I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, take care everybody.